would like to call this meeting to order for the Recreation and Parks Commission meeting of April 9th, 2024. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Carey? Here. Commissioner Batterson?
Here.
Commissioner Molina?
Here.
And Chair Lopez.
Here. Thank you. Ms. Osland, are there any changes to the agenda today?
Thank you, Chair. The only change to the agenda today is that we will be moving the approval to the minutes to the next meeting.
Thank you. So that takes us to our first item on the agenda, which is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak at this time?
Yes, we received one written comment from Elena DiParnini. A copy was provided at the dais. And we also have our first speaker, Mona Schaefer, who will be speaking on behalf of Ms. DiParnini.
Okay, sounds good. Please come up to the podium.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the Senior Center. My name is Mona Schaefer, and I'm speaking on behalf of Elena DiParnini and the Zumba Gold and chair aerobics participants, the Senior Center at Elwyn Muscle Senior Center. We have come together and expressed a deep concern regarding the recent price increase on exercise classes targeting at seniors. The monthly fee has increased to $44 from $20. For residents and non-residents, the price has increased to $54 from $26. As a member of the Santa Maria Valley Citizens Club, I have witnessed firsthand the positive impact these classes have on our physical and mental well-being. However, sudden rise in fees threatens to exclude many seniors who rely on these classes for their health and social connections. Mr. Smitherman, am I pronouncing that correctly?
That's correct.
Emailed Elena with the response to her request for public comment. He wrote, I quote, "We are committed to ensure that our programs remain accessible to all members of the community." He stated that he is pleased to offer financial assistance to the City of Santa Maria residents by having us complete a Play Inc. application for financial hardship with the documentation to prove our financial needs. There should be no need for seniors to complete a financial application for hardship, as the classes should be affordable to both residents and non-residents. Here's the reasons for opposing the price hike. Affordability. Many seniors live on a fixed income, and any increase in expenses directly affect their quality of life. Their exercise classes are essential for maintaining mobility, preventing falls, promoting overall health. By making them more expensive, we risk excluding those who need them the most. Number two, social interaction. The Senior Center is not just a place for exercise. It's a hub for socialization. Seniors come here to connect with friends, share experiences, and combat loneliness. Higher fees may discourage attendance, leading to isolation and decrease of well-being. Number three, health benefits. Regular exercises have been proven to enhance balance, strength, and flexibility in older adults. By making classes less accessible, we jeopardize the health of our community and members. Can I still go on?
You can finish.
Okay.
It's okay.
Health benefits. Oh, everybody, did I already see that? Number four, community support. The City of Santa Maria Recreation and Parks should prioritize well-being of its members over profits. We understand that managing cost is essential, but there's alternatives ways to achieve financial stability without burden seniors. There's purpose solutions. Number one, lowering the fees to $25 for residents and $31 for non-residents. Number two, sponsorship and grants, exploring partnership with local businesses, nonprofit, and government agencies to secure funding for senior programs. Grant and sponsorship can offset cost and maintain affordability. As you can see by people attending here, that it's proof that we have dear love for our instructor, for chair aerobics, and for Zumba Gold, Kathleen Hill, and we are certainly do not want Zumba Gold or chair aerobics to go away. She deserves her pay increase. In conclusion, I urge you to recognize the price hike, prioritize, and well-being of our seniors. Let us continue to build a strong, healthy, and connected community by keeping exercise classes accessible to all. And we refuse, as a senior citizen, not to be silent anymore. We're trying to get our voices heard so you can see how much it actually helps a lot of people from being lonely, because that might be the only place that they can go. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And thank you. And if there are no other requests to speak, I will close public comments at this point. Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of an update on the grants programs. The presentation is for information only and will be made by Dennis Smitherman, Interim Assistant Director. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is an annual update we provide to keep you apprised of our current grants, upcoming grants, and different programs that are being funded through these grants. So some of these may be familiar as they are multi-year projects in grants, and some of them may be new, and I have some exciting possible grants coming up as well. So today I'd like to share our current grant programs. This is for our program section. Basically on the recreation side, although there is Department of Justice there that throws us for a little bit of a loop. But we have the Outdoor Equity Grant Program. This is the SMORE program we've talked quite a bit about, and Jody Klug and Stephanie are in the back of the room who run this program. It's an exciting program. We're able to get those families that are underserved into the environment outside in nature through family camp, through individual overnight camp for our youth, and then camping and just a lot of outdoor activities. Through this grant, we've also will be able to provide free swim lessons for 300 youth this year. So we're excited about that as well. And we'll be able to run this program for one more year with this grant, and we have resubmitted for a follow-up funding opportunity and had our grant interview last week, and of course we think it went well. We'll see if we get the letter in the mail. The Cal Listos Grant Program is a program to get teens ready in case of an emergency. So we provide training in first aid, CPR, massive blood loss, and really trying to get our teens prepared to help not only their families in the time of a crisis, but possibly the community by helping out in shelters, should we be opening those up for our public to attend. So they go through a lot of training on emergency preparedness, and this grant is a one-year grant and is scheduled to end by the end of this calendar year. The Coastal Conservancy Grant is a teen-based grant. That little asterisk there means we're wrapping up. Actually, we finished and have submitted our paperwork for funding reimbursement, but this has been able to take a lot of our teens out into the natural aquatic areas that we have in our surroundings, including kayaking in Morro Bay. I've seen surf lessons. They get to do all the fun stuff that I wish I got to do, but they're out there having a good time. We will not be reapplying for this grant at this time. We're going to take a year off before we try this one again. Ranch to River is also wrapping up. We just submitted our final paperwork last week. This is the project that you'll see Susan Tuttle drive the big Los Flores Ranch trailer around with the mobile observatory. We've had an exciting year with thousands of participants able to go through the Ranch to River trailer, learn about the environment from Los Flores Ranch all the way to the riverbed, and a lot of our ecosystems that we have right here in Santa Maria. The Whale Tail Grant is also wrapping up. This was a grant that Stephanie and gang, again, worked with a local school to host a club to really teach them about the importance of our ocean environment. Casey has worked really hard on the DOJ tobacco grant. This grant is keeping minors away from flavored tobacco and tobacco retailers getting licensed here within the city to actually sell tobacco products. And then we have the CAL FIRE Urban Forest Management Plan grant, which we've talked a lot about. Not only are we really close to having a 100% urban forest master plan and getting that to council, but there's an educational component that will start next, and that's educating our residents and our contractors that work throughout the city on what trees they can cut and which ones they cannot. So we're excited. Again, all of these take additional time and energy, not only to write, but to keep up. I will tell you, when we just wrapped up the Ranch to River, it took 3 people, and I would say about 40 hours each just to do the final paperwork. So while grants are appealing, there is a lot of work behind each and every one of them. And these are the easy ones. We'll flip to the next slide. These get even more challenging. So these are our current capital grants or our parks grants. We have Clean California grant, which is the project on Battles Road that will be breaking ground here in the next week or so. That one is going to rejuvenate that bike trail from Depot to College along Battles and really make it a great trail for our residents. We have had the Prop 68. I just wrapped those up last week. There was 3 projects in that Prop 68, which included the sculpture at Miami Park, the futsal court at Buena Vista Park, and the new parking lot at Presker Lane to access the levee. And so we just finished that project last week and got our mandated signs up, sent pictures in and all the paperwork, and we should be getting reimbursed for those anytime now. We're lucky with the Santa Maria Sports Park. We continue to receive funding through different grant sources. Currently, we have a Prop 68 grant, which is $6.1 million towards the project. And then we just received local project funding, which used to be called an earmark. That is through the California Department of Recreation and Parks, and that's a $1 million grant. We're also working on the Japanese Community Center. That is also what they call a local project funding, but they are using HUD as their intermediary, which makes it a federal grant. And if you've ever written a federal grant, you know it's probably the most challenging grant out there. But we have received $500,000, and we're continuing to process the paperwork before we receive that check. We're working on the Presker Park project through CDBG funds. That is a trail which has been completed, a nice walking trail, and we're working on adding an additional bathroom over by the Kiwanis playground, the all-inclusive playground. We're moving forward and facing challenges one at a time, but we hope to have that project completed in the next couple of months. Another Prop 68, we are one of the only communities in California to actually receive 2. This was a very, very competitive grant program. And when we go to conference and they say, oh, you guys are the ones that got the 2 grants, it just is unheard of. But we have Veterans Memorial Park, you'll see, for over $2 million. That project is breaking ground here in the next couple of days. We're really excited about that. And we have pending right now a community development block grant. It has been proposed to City Council for approval. It's over $400,000. We don't have an exact amount yet. We're waiting to see what HUD actually gives the city, and we'll be the benefactor of probably around $440,000 approximately, and that could go up or down based on that funding. And then we have submitted the urban greening grant. That is also for the sports complex for an additional $1.6 million. I did get notification yesterday that this funding was pulled back due to the budget situation in the county, in the state. They did reallocate that funding to another funding source. So we're in limbo right now, whether we have to reapply or they're going to use our existing application to review for potential funding. So as you'll see, our total program grants as of now is $1.3 million. Our total park grants are almost $13 million for a total of over $14 million in grant funding. We share this with you so you know what the funding is being used for, that we have staff right now. There are 2 grant writers in the department, myself and Barbara Wiley. And we have great staff who are able to really, once funding is received, get up and get these projects going, whether it be a park or a program, and have really pushed forward. I'm a little hesitant to say this, but we have a really great relationship with all of our funding agencies and have met all deadlines and have not been had any challenges with having to return funding or anything along those lines, because we have a great reputation with them and they know that we continue to work towards meeting all the goals in the grant. So I'm here to answer any questions about grants if you have them.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Is there anyone here that would like to make comments regarding our grants presentation? Commissioners, do you have any questions?
No.
Chairman, Commissioner Molina? It's on.
It's on.
Is it on?
Yes. Yes.
I know we're not supposed to say comment on public comments and stuff like that, but is there any money there in our grants for our senior citizens programs that you got coming up?
Yes, so we're always on the lookout for all grants, regardless. So the state has not put any out directed towards any specific group. Right now, the closest we have is the Outdoor Equity Grant, which is getting youth, family, adults, and seniors out in nature. And so we have provided trips for all age groups, horseback riding and whale watching and all of that. So we are constantly keeping our eyes open for funding opportunities. Currently with senior programming, it's usually through AARP as a big funding source. We don't tend to qualify because a lot of what they're looking at is the financial, socioeconomic status of our community. And we don't tend to qualify in our senior area because they're not considered a high need according to AARP. We continue to look at all sorts of funding in it, and we welcome that if anyone comes across a source to send it to us, and we're happy to look at it.
And the community development block grant, is that something that can be used towards something like that?
The Community Development Block Grant is available for up to $20,000 for programs per year. I will tell you that my experience with the Community Development Block Grant is they don't tend to fund new programs, and it's pretty status quo on who they fund. We have written that grant for programs at least for the past, we did not for this current year, the one they're in deliberation for programs, but the past 2 or 3 years we have written and have not been funded.
Historically, from the grants that you've applied for, have you been or qualified or received any of those grants? Is that why you go back and continue to reapply, or are these new grants, some of them at least?
Some of them are new grants, and like the Outdoor Equity Grant was a new grant that just came up through the state of California. Some are reoccurring. We are extremely lucky. For those of you who remember Cindy Hoskins, who worked for the city for quite some time, it was her, I, and Barbara who wrote a lot of these. We are really lucky to live in a great community that the state representatives really see the need for these grants, and we have one of the highest success rates of most cities in California. So some are reoccurring and some are one-time grants.
Can I just have one? Is the CalListos renewable?
It is renewable. We're looking at we'll go through our first year, analyze the data, really make sure that we're meeting all of our goals, impacting the community that we say we're going to impact, and if feasible, we'll reapply.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? The next item will be staff report given by the business manager, Neville Smida. Mr. Smida?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Brief update. You have a handout of the slides, and so you can follow along on where we are with our budget, our current budget, and also some modifications we've had to make for our budget submission for the next two fiscal year cycle. So at 75% of the year, basically through the end of March, we are at about 66% expenditures across our general fund and Measure U that we have expenditures with spring and summer programs starting up and us starting our summer hiring. We anticipate that 66% will be at about 98% come the end of the fiscal year. So in February, I presented our idea for what we wanted to submit for a budget for the next 2-year cycle. It included a lot of capital projects and some supplemental budget requests. And 2 months later, here we are in April, and we've been requested by our finance department to look at making adjustments within our current budget, basically our status quo budget. There really isn't a lot of new money available, and so we've had to get a bit creative and try to get closer to completing or performing some of these projects that we want to perform within the budget that we have available to us. And so on this slide, you might recognize this. In February, I presented the first 3 columns. This new yellow column is our amended request, basically what we've had to resubmit as more of a status quo budget based on instructions we've received from the city manager's office. And we're not quite sure where things are going to land. It's all being reviewed right now at the executive level. And our hope is by May, we should have, at our May meeting, I'll have more information to share with you as to where it looks like we're going to be able to go with the kind of funding that will be available to us, what kind of projects we'll be able to start or continue to work on, or ways in which we're going to have to be creative with the funding that is provided to us. And lastly, a staffing update. Very excited that in March we hired 7 new employees. 4 were promoted, and unfortunately, we lost 2 employees to other opportunities. I do also want to say that one of the things that the city, especially the Human Resources Department, is really trying to focus on is employee development, and they're doing a lot of training programs in the last few months. And since September, our department alone, we've been able to promote 21 employees, which I think is actually quite significant. Often the term "there's nowhere to go" is thrown around, but I think in the last 6 months, the fact that we've been able to promote 21 employees, internal employees, is significant. And our hope is that these training programs are being helpful to these employees who are either looking for promotion or have been promoted, and they'll continue to develop. And then a list of our current vacancies. That's what we have right now for our full-time and part-time positions that we're actively, at least very soon, going to be opening recruitments for, so that we can get these very critical positions filled. Any questions from the commission?
Any questions? No.
I got.
Go ahead.
Last month, we were here, and we were talking about recruitment at the high schools, our senior citizens, to come out and help, and these jobs were applauded. The seniors group was applauded because of what they do, the volunteer work that they do at the senior citizens. Now that they're here, we have them here, you know, that we have jobs available for our senior citizens to help bring down the cost at all our facilities, whether they're working there or volunteering there, right? So the senior citizens, we need your help too, into applying for jobs. They'll hire you guys looking for all kinds, you know, so apply with it. Dennis Smitherman, he'll give you a job.
Thank you, Commissioner Molina. Now we'll hear from the Parks and Operations Manager, Casey Stone. Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. Okay, so the Park Operations Field Report. Happy to report a number of exciting things. In addition to all of the mowing, trimming, cleanups, the sports field preparations, the tree plantings, and the trainings the staff has been doing. We've got a number of things that have kicked off this week or are going to kick off next week, and that's what I'd like to talk about today. So today, there was groundbreaking on Veterans Memorial Park Phase 2. So last week we had a pre-construction meeting between Public Works, our department, and the contractor, and they got started out there this week. So that's going to be renovating the park. That'll include the new playground installation, among many other things, and we're expecting that's going to conclude sometime midsummer. The Grogan Playground resurfacing project started this week as well. So last week, the Recreation Parks Department began removing the damaged playground surfacing material that was that artificial turf and some of the material that was underneath it. Had to haul that off so that the contractor that came in this week was ready to do their site preparation. So we're hoping that'll be concluded by the end of April, and that playground will be open first week of May. That's what we're on track for, and that's what we're expecting. Also, we're expecting on Monday of next week, that'll be April 15th, the citywide court resurfacing project will begin. So this is exciting because if you've been out to any of our sports courts outside, many of them are in need of some new lines, some new paint, and that's what's going to kick off next week. So the primary location is going to be Manami, Adam Park, the tennis courts over there. 5 of those tennis courts are all going to be refurbished. One of those tennis courts is going to be converted to 3 new pickleball courts. In addition to those locations, we're going to have some basketball courts throughout the city exterior that are going to get rehabbed too. So that's going to be the basketball court outside of the tennis courts that we just talked about. That's going to be the half-court basketball courts over at Buena Vista Park. That'll be the court over here outside of CMIS Abel Maldonado Youth Center. And then also the courts over at Miramonte Park. Next, as Dennis already alluded to, the Battles Road Multipurpose Trail Project. That's expected to kick off also next Monday. That's a little over a mile long, and that project is going to be, we're hoping to see it concluded by end of the fiscal year, June 30th. That's what we're on track for at this point. There'll be a lot of, in addition to the construction, so sort of redoing everything that's out there, there's going to be new landscaping going in at that location too. We've been very busy the last couple of weeks trying to notify many of the folks that are parking their vehicles in that area that are not supposed to be. So that's been a project, but we're almost there. So look for that work to start next week. Exciting time. As you can see, the City Hall project continues. So with the exception of the rain, everyone's been out there working on that just about every day. The rain has slowed it down a little bit because when it rains, it gets really mushy and there's only so much that can be done. But that progress continues. There will be a new wall that's going in at that location, so that's in final design review. That'll probably start within the next 30 days is my guess on that one. And then last but not least, Enos Ranch project, so phase 2, which is going to be the new community center, also mentioned by Mr. Smitherman. That kicked off this week, and expecting to see that conclude at the end of this calendar year, so sometime December-ish. So that's really kind of an update on what the Parks Division has been up to or is about to be even more involved with next week and entertain any questions you may have at this time.
Any questions? Commissioner?
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Smitherman, who will give us a report on the recreation services.
Thank you. Good afternoon again. I'd like to introduce you real quick to a small but mighty crew in the back of the room. I would like to welcome back to the Recreation and Parks Department, Jeanette Blanco. Jeanette is with us as a recreation coordinator. Her direct oversight will be over senior programs and community-wide special events. So welcome back, Jeanette. We have Jody Klug, who I introduced vaguely earlier. She oversees our SMORE program. That's a $500,000 grant program. If you ever want to chaperone or volunteer to be a chaperone to go on some of the best trips that we offer, meet up with Jody. Horseback riding and whale watching, you do have to work. There are kids there, so you do have to watch. But it's a great time, and Jody's done a great job with the department. Thank you, Jody. And you guys all know Stephanie by now. And I really want to thank Stephanie and that whole crew for really having such a great event over the weekend, the Kite Festival with the Discovery Museum. That partnership has been going on for more than a decade now. And really, if it wasn't for Stephanie and crew, you would only see half of a festival. So I really want to thank them. And again, a great partnership with the Discovery Museum. Those partnerships help us provide programs that the department alone couldn't provide. So we're really thankful for those. Swim lessons started today. So if you're by the pool in the afternoon, it's packed. But no better, what a great opportunity for hundreds of kids right now to go through swim lessons. We'll be offering more as the season goes on, and then summer we'll have a lot more. So we are working to provide, again, through the grant, I think it's about 300 free swim lessons this year, and then we're still working with the school district and finalizing details on getting every fourth grader in swim lessons this year as well. So we're excited about that. Stephanie and group has a lot of summer programs lined up, and we talked a little bit about this last month. Some great new camps that will be starting this summer as well. I provided in front of you a quick memo about our financial assistance program. I'm hoping that you can help share the word. We do offer financial assistance for any department-led activity or program. While right now swim lessons are provided through our grant program, if you qualify, it would be a 100% discount. So we're excited that most of our other programs were able to provide up to a 50% discount. And again, this is through our partnership with Play Inc., who's out raising funds to help provide these financial assistance dollars. And we can't thank them enough for that. I also provided you just some information. We've gotten some calls regarding health food or trucks, food trucks parking on city streets serving parks. And so recently, the rangers have been going out and making sure that they have their health permit. Anybody cooking food or warming food, cutting food, preparing food in any way, shape, or form is required by county to have a health permit. This isn't, while there is a city standard that you have your health permit, we just make sure that those serving our parks have that health permit. And if they're in the park, they have to have a citywide vendor permit that was approved by council 5 years ago. So both of those are needed to actually vend within the park. We do have some organizations out there who do not have health permits, so we will be talking to them and letting them know the requirements. So I expect that we might be hearing from them down the road as well. I'm excited we have a sports complex update. We are at 99.99% of complete drawings. I think we're down to picking the LED light bulb size that goes in the fixtures, but we are there. This is a great project. We are, with the CDBG funding, I believe we have enough money to break ground. Yet to be decided, but we're still looking at that this is possibly going to give us the dollars to move that project forward after. We're going on 8-9 years with this project, so it'll be exciting to break ground on that. We have a call to artists coming out in the next week or two, and we're just looking for designs at this point to create concepts for the pedestrian overpass here on Broadway, to come up with something creative and fun that really represents our city. So depending on the designs that we get, the Public Art Committee will review them. The commissioners from our Public Art Committee are Ann Batterson and Rebecca Carey, as well as some community members that will review all the designs probably early summer, and then we'll decide how to proceed at that point. We are also excited for the 4th of July event. I know it's a little early, but we've already started planning. I use that term "we" loosely. Thank you back there. We are excited to share that we will not be lighting off fireworks, but we will be having a drone show. It's official. We signed the contract and it's ready to go. So this is in partnership, of course, with the Chamber of Commerce, who will be helping assist in funding that show. So more details to come. We're still coming up with the name. I like red, white, and Zoom. We'll see how that goes and it plays over. So. And last is the leisure needs assessment. We looked at the leisure needs assessment and the current vendor that we had selected. There was some challenges with insurance requirements. And so what's going to be best is that we take the scope of work and go back out and look for a vendor that's able to provide us the services that we need and can meet the city's requirements for insurance. So we hope to have that call for this contract out again in the next couple weeks as well. We'll keep you updated, but hopefully we still have, I think we want to get that completed by late summer, early fall. And that's, again, where we go out to the community and really get the needs that they think we need here in Santa Maria. So we'll be reaching out to you more about that as we get more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. Do you have any questions? Go ahead.
A while ago, we talked about the Silver Sneakers program, and is that available all citywide or?
Yeah, so Silver Sneakers is a great program. They've since changed the name. It's Tivity. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So we work with them to provide no-cost classes at the senior center. We do have quite a few members, but you are required to have that specific insurance to qualify, and they reimburse the city for those classes.
Did you say Tivity? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. A question for you. The vendors that come out as part of a birthday party at the parks, I mean, I would hope they have a health permit, but are they required by the Recs and Parks to have a health permit because they're not selling, but they're serving the guests?
Yes, there's several different levels for the health department permits, and they are on page 2 of that memo. To get better clarification, I don't want to misquote. I will give you my understanding, but know that you have the document in your packet just to reference. So yes, anybody that is even bringing food in from outside is required to have some level of health permit. Not only a health permit, but if they've been paid by the birthday party people, for example, they are also required to have a vendor permit with the Recreation and Parks Department.
Thank you. Did you have a question about?
Yeah, Dennis, I'm looking at the financial assistance application, and these, I've used this before with the kids for play, for boxing and stuff, and it's like a 1-year fee, $200, fee like this.
Yeah.
But for a program, like a monthly program, to get financial assistance, how would that work?
We base it off the whole calendar, or the whole year from when they've applied for financial assistance and are first approved. I will tell you, to date, we have a 100% approval rating. We haven't turned anyone away for any reason for not being able to pay. Most of it is for youth. We've had a couple of seniors ask about swimming, and we've been able to provide funding for that as well. That was really big during COVID. But yeah, we have a turnaround time of less than 24 hours to let the participant know that they've been approved or not, but again, that hasn't been the case. And then we are able to enter it in our system where they're eligible for a whole year at a time.
And that money that they apply for will go directly to their program that they apply for, that they
Correct.
want to be in? Dancy.
Right then and there, when they come in to register, they'll be able to, they'll take it off of the fee immediately
For the year.
for the year. Most of our programs, they'll come in monthly to pay for, so they'll take it off every time they come in. You can choose to pay for all the months that are available. Most people will come in once a month to register for the next class or program. Same with swim lessons. Usually you want to see where you're at, or if you have a busy schedule, you may not sign up for the next class or program for that month.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Interim Department Director Angela Osland.
Thank you, Chair Lopez. So as you've heard, we have a lot going on and a lot that's starting up in terms of construction. As the community is driving around, they're kind of able to see our moving the dirt. And so that's really exciting. And just wanted to acknowledge the Public Works Department for all of their support in those projects on behalf of Rec and Parks. So the City Council Goals and Priorities Review went to City Council. There was a workshop that the directors and City Council and City Manager's Office met earlier this year. That item went to City Council for review, and they did adopt 4 broad goals: long-term financial sustainability, community quality of life, planning and infrastructure, and organizational well-being, with their priorities being a new approach to economic development, providing youth opportunities, providing public safety resources, and establishing a staffing plan. What that means to us as a department is that, as Mr. Smita talked about earlier, we're putting our budget together and we're evaluating what we want to accomplish in the coming year, both with our leisure needs assessment from 2018 and then the new leisure needs assessment that we're working on, and the council goals that we our Rec and Park goals that we pulled together last year in alignment with these goals. So we're going through that exercise again this year of pulling together goals for the coming budget cycle. As we get into May, we'll come back to you with some more specific information about what our budget looks like, the opportunities that we'll be able to provide, some of the opportunities that we may or may not be able to provide, and then projects that we've also put forward for consideration in the budget. With that, we will be able to talk about a number of the youth activities that we're looking forward to for the coming year. You heard Mr. Smitherman already talk about some of the grant-funded opportunities that are coming up, as well as status on the construction projects. Also included in that will be a user fee study that we're going to start working on. When was the last one we did? Quite a while ago. Okay, so 2018, we had a user fee study. We do this every several years, just as we do a leisure needs assessment. So we'll be evaluating our current programs and services. As you know, we every couple of years, SEIU has an increase in their COLA, and so we want to make sure that we wrap that in, as well as our utility rates and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, also trying to make sure that it's still equitable and affordable for the community. So that will be coming forward in the coming months as well. On the 2nd of April, City Council approved the Transportation Art Maintenance Agreement for utility box. Did you mention that? You did not. I got him. And so those projects will be moving forward, and these are a number of the utility boxes that came to the Arts Committee and that were approved, and they'll be moving here pretty quickly, I would say, here in the next couple of months. And then the next thing that we're also working on is exploring opportunities to expand our GIS offerings. So we currently have on our city website a map of our historical landmarks. I know that a couple of you had mentioned that previously. We've been talking internally with our IT department about how to expand that with some of our other either facilities or parks or trails type systems. So you may see that in the coming months that we'll start to take another look at what we have and refresh and then build on that. We'll also bring that back to you as just a matter of an update of where we might be and then what the community might want to see in terms of what we can offer for interactive maps for recreation and parks. And then finally, we have a parks assessment and urban forest management plan coming up. These are going to be coming up here in the next month. We've gone ahead and moved those back into June. Again, making sure that we roll the information in the budget so that when we present the parks assessment and the urban forest management plan to council, there's a really good context and background for them so that they can review the documents. It's, as you know, it's a lengthy document. Both of them are quite a couple of inches. So we'll give them a lot of time to review those, and then we'll give them time to ask questions before they are on the dais and making sure that they can do a thorough review of it. So with that, I'll turn it over to you for questions.
Go ahead. So you just said that, but both hearings with the city council will be in June for both of the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense to delay those
Good.
so that we could wrap the budget together. Initially, when we were looking at projections, we saw kind of a broader revenue. We're not seeing that as much right now, so we want to make sure that the budget that we present is sustainable. And as we talk forward into the future on the urban forest management plan and the parks assessment, making sure that we're set up for a good conversation and that we're providing council with, you know, the work that we're doing now and the value of that work now versus what we hope to do in the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you, Director Ausland. Next, we'll move on to oral reports of the commissioners. Commissioner Milena, would you like to start?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for everybody showing up tonight. Commissioner Lopez, I'd like to say since last month we were here, we talked about the NA, about getting some spaces for them. They responded back saying that, you know, we're working with them to get them some space, you know, at our center, so they appreciate that. I don't know if I told you, but the West Side got a new flag, so we were able to get a new flag up there, and they were really happy about that. Been walking through the neighborhood. I ran into Mr. Lee, Paul Lee, and before he went off to his surgery. So a lot of prayers are needed for Mr. Commissioner Lee and him. He was in really good spirits, but a little concerned, you know. Other than that, I feel the needs of all the time is our community is the senior citizens, as well as our youth and our young adults for basketball. There's a lot of different areas that we have to, as a Parks and Recreation Commissioner, that we have to help, you know? And so it's with Angela now, you've been there, you know? So anything that happens, we bring it up to her, letters come into Angela and Dennis, and they bring it to the commission, and then we try to help and try to do it better. It's kind of hard to come in with the committee, a lot of people, but Angela is a very good person, and she's been working hard as the director, and I'm sure if you get with her, and she'll figure out a way to make those classes possible. Thank you.
Commissioner Batterson? I have nothing else. Commissioner Carey?
I have a few things. So March 5th, the city did a proclamation for Arbor Day, and I don't know if you all saw it, but I was going to pass it around. It's from the city to Recreation and Parks, but it was very, very nice. We get it every year, and it's quite wonderful. The other everything else is things upcoming. We've got the Buena Vista beautifiers are doing a Kids' Day in the Park on June 9th, which would be a great thing to attend. It's, you know, I don't know, Buena Vista is the oldest park in the city, and it's just really beautiful. I'm surprised that you said that the basketball courts already have to be redone. It seems like it was just...
Sorry, my mic. Yeah, it's funny, if you go to Google Earth and you zoom in on many of these facilities, you'll see where the heavy use is.
It's always full.
It's grinding down, yeah, already.
Thank you. April 21st is Earth Day. There's a celebration at the Natural History Museum from noon on, and it's always a really fun event if you've never been there, or a lot of people haven't even seen the Natural History Museum on the inside. It's a wonderful little gem right down the street. So it's at noon on April 21st. They always have good cookies and stuff too. The Painted Chairs starts next week in the library. It's the Friends of the Library big fundraiser of the year. And I get to do the design of the room. And this year for the room, we got, the mall gives us a free room for 2 weeks. And this year we got the old shop that sold jacuzzis, and it's got like this raw cement floor full of cracks. I mean, it's free, and we're grateful, but yeah, it's going to take some work. The other thing is, we got the Mayor's Youth Task Force. In 2 weeks, the Mayor's Youth Task Force is doing our trip south with hopefully 30 kids, sophomores and juniors in high school, and we're doing UCLA, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State LA, and one more school that I don't know what, I can't remember, and I didn't write it down. It probably is on the list that somebody else gave us. We're going to go to the Getty Museum, and the kids always love it, and so do we, and the Orange County Art Museum. And one last thing is, I mentioned it last month, but CRATAC, which is a county trails committee for countywide, there's still no representatives from the 5th District and for Steve Lavanino, and it's just, we have so many great trails here, and if we could have some representation, if anyone's interested, you can call Steve's office or get in touch with me. But that's all I have. Thank you.
I do want to add that we thank you all for being here today. I personally have heard your comments. Everyone did. We appreciate you for being here. The staff is and will be working on the best solution, the best alternative for you all. And they are actually working on that. Rest assured, Angela and as well as Dennis. Everyone, thank you, Jeanette, Jody, and Stephanie. They're all here to make the process, the classes, affordable and easier for everyone. Our youth and our senior citizen are very important, and so rest assured that we did hear you, we appreciate you, and just wait to hear back from us in the future. And again, I want to welcome Jeanette back. Thank you for being back.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And of course, Jody and Stephanie for everything that you do. That's all I have. Does anyone have any other comments?
Nope.
This concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.